Well, let's kick off immediately. And the next request was Nvidia. This is one of the companies in the world that's been sold off also aggressively. And this is a weekly chart. And well, let's have a look there. The share came from 331 right at the top, and it came back to 121 in, you can almost say, in a matter of 7-8 months. That is a huge sell-off. And where are we now? If you look at the chart here, let's go back. You are now at the same levels as 2021, when the markets were pumped up after that with a flood of liquidity. Nobody dropped interest rates, and nobody said that inflation will ever be a problem. At that point in time, it was all just rosy, rosy, rosy. You cannot go wrong. You must just buy it, and now we're back. So what do we see here? We see a beautiful resistance line. Remember, this is a weekly chart, of course. There you are. There's the resistance line in place. And what do we see here? We see a descending channel, and we're right in the middle of the descending channel. And while we're in this channel, it's quite simple. We can go lower. That's always the big thing. When you're in a descending channel, you can really say to yourself, sit on your hands. And where's my place where it can maybe show us? If I just use this as my resistance line and I draw it in there, it will probably break this line above 145.30. Only above 145.30 on a weekly chart. Unfortunately, Nvidia will give us a little bit of a buying opportunity. And where's my stop loss? At that point, we'll probably have the low in place here, and then it breaks up. And if it breaks up there, it can take it all the way back to that little resistance, and that is 191.77. What do I sometimes do? If I have a resistance line like this is maybe a good thing just to keep in mind. If you see a descending channel, and you see the target there, 191, let's make it 191, and you did buy it there, what I usually do, I just put my sell in just below that spot level there. And the reason why I say that exactly target, sometimes it just turns right below, it turns down and it goes down. So I always say, take easy money. Everybody that's on the speculation group, they know by now that we sometimes take 50 points, we take 100 points, and sometimes the market goes up or falls way more than what we've got in the bank. That's not the issue. The issue is we're making consistent profits. And if you do buy Nvidia there and you've got your stop loss in place and you've got this exact level and you say, wow, I will sell it at 191. Do yourself a favor and sell it at 189.99. When it gets there, it sometimes goes much higher, but if it turns around, you've got your money in the bank. And that's the important thing. Always take the easy money. That's my philosophy. I know I'm sometimes horribly wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. But always take the money, because then easy money, because then you stay in the business. Our next request is Durban Roodepoort Deep. Well, they're just not a gold company anymore. They do some other things. They do a lot of reclamation of platinum as well nowadays. They've got that plant outside Altonville. But if you look at this share price, it comes back, can you believe that, all the way from 28 Rand down to 8.82. And by the way, I can remember when it was close to 28 Rand, we had somebody at our little guest house here in Vosburg in the middle of the Karoo, where a lot of people always come and visit me for training. But this guy, when he stayed here, he said he's got all his money in Durban Roodepoort Deep. And I said to him, that's not a good idea, but maybe I'm wrong. But I hope that he did take some profit, because from 28 Rand, 8 Rand 82, you can really lose a lot of money by that. If you look at this, the trend is still down, and remember, this is a weekly chart. And I always say, if everybody is so negative on gold, and everybody is now extremely negative on gold, in actual fact, on last week's show, I said that A friend of mine actually phoned me and said, listen, Frans, but gold is breaking a very important resistance level or support level, and it can go much lower. You are quite right, it can. What we tend to forget is it never goes down in a straight line. It sometimes gives you that little blips. If I look at Durban-Roodepoort Deep, we are right at the inflection point here of a falling wedge. And where will that break up? That will break up above R9.15. Above R9.15, Durban-Roodepoort Deep can give us maybe a beautiful relief bounce. Where's my stop loss? 882. So it's a nice tight stop loss. And where can it go to? It can go 973, 1033, 1085, and even as high as 1184. And this is now one of those shares that is being sold off so aggressively. Yes, it can go even lower. But I mean, I think we may be so close to a relief bounce, because any share that comes from 28 Rand, there you are, from 28 Rand down to 882, you will get a point where some other investors say, but it offers value and we're just buying a little bit. It's just something else to remember. I always say to myself, if the company drops and drops and drops, let's say it breaks below this 880 level and it goes to 850 or even 8 Rand or 780, I always say that there is some info in this company that is keeping investors away. That's why be careful. If it remains to be under pressure, just stick to your stop loss, especially in this kind of market. You get sometimes a market where you can maybe be a little bit lenient on a stop loss because the share either rallied way too much or it dropped way below the net asset value, and you can maybe be a little bit lenient on yourself. But in this kind of market, I think a rigid stop loss is almost important. And remember, if you use a weekly chart, use a weekly close. And if you use a daily chart, use a daily close to determine either your stop loss level or your profit taking level. Apple is one of the giants of the Nasdaq. Remember, the weighting of Apple in the Nasdaq is heavy. One of the biggest shares in that index. And if Apple is showing this chart, I'm telling you that maybe Nasdaq can even go lower. Why? Because we've got some strong overhead resistance here. You can have a look there. Look at the strong resistance there. There you are. Every time that the share gets to this $175, $180 level, there's some sellers around here. You can maybe see this as a triple top. I see it as a high, a lower high, and I just want to illustrate it to you. That is making me a little bit nervous because a lower high always tell me that there is some sellers selling in strength. But on the other hand, some guys will say, but Frans, wait a bit, if the Nasdaq go on and it rallies, this must be an inverse head and shoulder. There's the left shoulder, there's the head, and we're sitting on the right shoulder. Now, where's the neckline? The neckline is sitting at 169.60. The share is now trading at 150. So if it breaks above that one, let's call it 170, it can easily go where to? It can take it all the way back to that beautiful psychological level of $200. But if that needs to take place, you need to see the Nasdaq picking up higher because the Nasdaq was sold off aggressively. So yes, it is bullish. Where's my stop loss? My stop loss, if it breaks there, it will probably be 149.90 for my stop loss. I hope some of the believers in Apple gets a nice surprise and it can go to $200. If this line here breaks, and that's my biggest worry, with these lower highs that I see, if that line breaks, and I want to give it through to you, then it will tell me that the top of the Nasdaq is in place for the moment and Apple's stop is in place, and that will be below 130. Below 130, we can see a beautiful rounding top, and it can easily take the share below $100. Let us look at DRD.com. Well, it's still under pressure. It's a weekly chart here. There's the resistance. Well, there you are. There's the channel. Also an classic descending channel, and somebody wants to buy it, I will say the first sign of strength is that little resistance line there. That resistance line will only break above 59.70. Above 59.70, we can go to 70.70. And where's my stop loss? My stop loss will be then that low of there, 51.50. JD.com on a weekly chart, and this is a weekly chart, needs to do a lot of work to make me excited about it. I mean, it's been sold off aggressively from 108 to about 50. That's a big drop. That is a big drop. Let's look at SSR mining. Well, I mean, what do you want more? You want to see a double top. This is a classic double top. It reached this level of 24. It's coming back with a vengeance. And in actual fact, what makes me more worried is that it actually confirmed this double top now. And it looks like that this share can actually go lower. So, guys, if you want to buy SSR mining, it must get above that little line there. There you are. $14.30. Low 14.30, it can go even lower. Where's my target? I mean, can you believe that my target will be, if that double top plays out, I don't even want to say that, because I don't know if the viewer that asked about it still have some shares, but that can take the share, can you believe it, all the way down to $4.35. So for me, yes, maybe a relief bounce above that. This double top on a weekly basis will make me nervous. I mean, it had an ugly seller from 24.31 to 13 in a matter of a few weeks. I mean, 3 months. It's aggressive, and that is severe. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching the show. Visit our website, www.fransklerk, for more info on the services, and we will chat again. All the best.